What's up YouTube, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the specs and features of the iPhone 6 to the iPhone 6 Plus. So today we've had two announcements from Apple, hundreds of leaks beforehand, so we pretty much knew what to expect, but we weren't sure if we were going to be getting the 6 Plus at the same time as the 6, but it has happened, and we've got these two devices. What are the differences between these two? Well, do hit that thumbs up button and let's find out in this head-to-head spec comparison. So the most obvious difference is the screen size. You've got a 4.7 inch screen on the iPhone 6, and on the 6 Plus you've got a 5.5 inch screen. So Apple clearly now competing with Android. They've always gone for a smaller screen size. Everyone's seen that thumb advert as well, which was to emphasize that you should have a smaller screen size, which they did with the iPhone 5. But they have finally given in, and now they're going to be competing with Android with the larger screen size, and also the 5.5 inch screen, which is going to be competing with devices such as the Note. These are becoming definitely more popular, and Apple have seen this and are definitely going for that. You've got the backlit LED displays as well, so these are the IPS displays, improved brightness as well as viewing angles. I mean, iPhone screens usually are absolutely great, so I don't think you're gonna have to worry too much about that. In terms of resolution, we've got a difference here as well. So for the iPhone 6, you've got 1334 by 750 pixel resolution. That's a very random number, but that comes to 326 ppi. Now you can see why they've done this. The iPhone 5 and the iPhone 5S both had 326 ppi pixel density. So in order to maintain that same pixel density, they have gone for this resolution. I mean, it's slightly more than 720p. Now the iPhone 6 Plus has a better resolution, so you've got a full HD resolution here, no random numbers here, 1920 by 1080. That's great to see. I thought they might come up with their own random resolution for this one as well, but for the 6 Plus they have gone for a 1080p resolution, and that works out to roughly about 401p pi pixel density. So the edge definitely goes to the iPhone 6, firstly of a more standard resolution. So if you're watching 1080p videos, pixel for pixel, they are going to be looking that much better on the iPhone 6 Plus with that larger screen as well, and that PPI is also higher, so images and text are going to be that much sharper. But the advantage that you have with the iPhone 6 is that it's smaller, so it's going to be easier to use, a little bit more comfortable to use with one hand. You still may need to use two hands because of that screen size, depending on your hand size, but it's definitely a lot more compact. 20mm smaller in terms of the height, 10.8mm smaller in terms of the width, and it's also 0.2mm thinner, so very thin device here, 6.9mm. They have definitely gone out their way to make this quite small. I mean, personally I would have liked them to have probably left the size maybe a little bit thicker and had a larger battery, but they want to go for that thin, very thin profile on the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus. So both of these very thin phones here, but the iPhone 6 are definitely more compact, so it's going to depend on what you more prefer. Do you want that larger screen with more real estate and that better viewing experience, or do you want something a little bit more compact that's going to fit in your hand a little bit better? Now there's also a difference in weight. The larger device also calls for a larger weight. You're looking at 43 grams more, so the iPhone 6 Plus is 43 grams more than the iPhone 6. Now that's a considerable amount of weight when you're looking at phones, so the larger screen is going to come with that weight as well. So once again, that comfortability factor is going to come into play in favor of the iPhone 6. The build, they've got the same build here. You've got the aluminium unibody design. Now this design was leaked a long time ago. It looks quite nice and sleek. It's quite similar to some of the iPod touches that we've seen before as well. You've got that curve back now, so because of that curve it should be fitting a little bit better in the hand as well. Usually Apple have gone for that flat sort of design, so this is quite nice to see that we've got a fresh design on here. But both of these have the aluminium premium feel and build, so this is something that Apple are known for, that premium build, and this is something that they're definitely continuing forward. Now in terms of the internals, both of these have the Apple A8 processor. Now in terms of clock speed, they've not specified exactly what the clock speed is on here as yet. We should be finding this out within the next few weeks when people actually get hold of these and can start opening them up. But as far as we know, they are the same clock speed, and you've also got 64-bit chips on here, which is great to see. I mean, the iPhone 5S was super fast, and this is going to be carried over on to both of these. In terms of performance, we're gonna have to see, because the 6 Plus is pushing out that many more pixels, then there might be a bit of a difference in terms of performance. So we are gonna have to see. Screen resolution definitely goes towards the on-screen performance of devices. Now you've also got the M8 coprocessor, motion coprocessor on both of these devices, which is great. Compared to last time, the new processor is now also going to measure if you're running, if you're walking, if you're elevating, so if you're going upstairs and things, to really keep in track of your fitness. So this has now been improved, and you've got all of these new features with it. In terms of the RAM, we haven't not been told what the RAM is. This is something, once again, we're going to have to look into. Overall, they're saying it's going to be 1 GB on either side. We're not 100% sure about this, and if the larger version is going to have more RAM for multitasking, we don't know about this. As far as we know right now, it is 1 GB. If anything is changed, then I will update that in the description below. In terms of the different storage versions available now, they've gone for something different here. They've ditched the 32 GB version, so you can have 16, 64 and 128. So you've got a new version now, you've got 128 gig. So if you are somebody who takes lots of pictures and things, then the 128 gig version is definitely going to be useful for you. But I would have liked them to have ditched the 16 gig version and jump straight to 32, probably to keep the 16 GB version on the cheaper side of things. I'm not sure why, but it would have been nice if they went 32, 64, 128. But these are the storage versions that you have available. No expandable storage, I think that goes without saying. Now looking at the cameras, so they've stuck to 8 megapixels. So on both of these, you've got the same sensor, and it's 8 megapixels on both. So they've not increased the megapixels, they have maintained that. But what improvements they have made, we've got phase detection, autofocus. They are calling it focus pixels now. You know, Apple likes to give these fancy names to their features. It's phase detection, autofocus. It's similar to what the Samsung Galaxy S5 has, and lots of DSLRs use this as well for focusing. So basically it means super fast focus. You're going to be looking at roughly about a third of a second to grab focus, which is great to see. Phase detection focus is one of the fastest focusing methods that you can find on smartphone cameras right now. You've still got the TrueTone flash on both of these as well. Now, the key difference with the rear-facing cameras on both of these devices is that the iPhone 6 has digital image stabilization, whereas the 6 Plus has optical image stabilization. So that's a big difference here. Optical image stabilization is way better, and because it's hardware based rather than software based, you're going to have a big benefit here. So motion shots and things are going to come out that much better, and also low light shots are going to be better because of that optical image stabilization. So it's great to see that we've got this on the Plus. Would have been nice to have also had this on the 6. Now in terms of the video, this is absolutely great. So firstly, you've got 1080p at 30 and 60 frames a second on both of these. But the key thing here is that you've got 240 frames a second at 720p, which is absolutely insane. I mean, you had 120 frames a second on 720p on the iPhone 5S, and that was absolutely great. I absolutely loved it, especially with the software. Coupled with that software, you could do some really awesome shots. You could get some great footage, but they've upped that to 240 frames a second. I think personally for me, this is one of the best features on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Definitely looking forward to testing that out, and I will be putting lots of examples on the channel as soon as it's released. So be sure you are subscribed to see that first. Now in terms of the front-facing cameras, now this is where I'm disappointed. This is a disappointment. They've stuck to a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera that films at 720p HD. Now this is really not good, because they've kept this from the iPhone 5 to the iPhone 5S, and now you've also got this on the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. I mean, other smartphones such as the Note, they've got up to 3.7 megapixels and they are filming at 1080p HD. So you've got all of these new features on some of the other smartphones on there, but here they've still stuck to 1.2 megapixels and you've still got 720p HD. And especially how big that selfie craze is, everybody knows about the selfie craze. You know, I would have liked to have a higher resolution on the front facing cameras on both of these, but you've just got 1.2 megapixels. They've got some new features. So for example, you've got burst shots, so you can take lots of shots together from the front facing camera and pick your best one and things. But that resolution is probably one of the biggest disappointments for me on the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. Now you're going to get iOS 8 on both of these out of the box, which is absolutely great, and it's going to have the updates coming straight to these devices from Apple. That's one good thing that you have with Apple. Now the difference here is that the iPhone 6 Plus, because it has a larger screen, it's more optimized for a larger screen, so it's going to be similar to things like with the iPad. So if you go into landscape mode, then it's going to split the screen and things like that, just to make things a little bit more easier to use with that larger device. Both of these also have a feature that they're calling reachability. Now this is gonna bring the screen a little bit down so you don't have to reach all the way up. So they're definitely looking for that one-handed use. I mean, it still will be difficult to use the iPhone 6 Plus with one hand, but that feature is a definitely welcome thing. Now, in terms of the features, both of these have Touch ID, so Touch ID, absolutely great, absolutely loved it on the iPhone 5S. It works better than any of the fingerprint scanner on any of the smartphone. I've been using the Samsung ones, and you have to swipe, which is so annoying, and it's hit or miss really. Whereas with the iPhone, you just touch and it lets you in, and it worked perfectly on the iPhone 5S. That's great that that's been continued over on to the iPhone 6 as well as the 6 Plus. But the key thing you have now is Apple Pay. So this is going to use NFC for you to be able to make payments, and Apple are partnering with loads and loads of providers. So what you're going to be able to do is you can authorize payments with Touch ID, which makes it secure firstly, and secondly, you're going to be able to make payments much more easily and quicker. So Apple Pay is on both the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus, a great feature, and I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out. Now, in terms of the batteries, they've not specified what the size of the batteries are in terms of milliamps. They usually don't do this for the devices. We're going to have to wait for somebody to actually open it up and actually check what kind of a battery that you've got and what the size of the battery is. They've simply said that it's going to be either the same or better than the previous model. That's not very encouraging for me personally, because the previous model wasn't great for me, especially considering that I'm a medium to heavy user. I'm sure lots of you will also be disappointed with the previous models. So we're going to have to see these and put these side by side. The iPhone 6 Plus is definitely going to have a larger battery because it's a larger phone, but then again, you've got a larger screen and it's pushing out more pixels. This is something that we're going to have to see. They have said that it's improved on the previous model. We're going to have to put that to the test, and as soon as we've got the devices in hand, we will be doing those tests on the channel, so make sure you are subscribed for that. Now, in terms of the price, these are the prices that you can expect. These are for the handset onlys. I mean, you can get these on contract as well, but this is just to see the difference in value of both of these. So you're going to be paying $100 more for the iPhone 6 Plus, or roughly about £80 more here in the UK. So in terms of pricing, the iPhone 6 is quite similarly priced to the previous models, so this is sort of what we were expecting, around about this pricing range. But the iPhone 6 Plus does go to that higher pricing model, so this is something else that you're gonna have to consider as well. You could get a 64 gig version of the iPhone 6 for the same price of a 16 gig version of the iPhone 6 Plus, so this is going to be something that you're going to have to consider. In terms of release, you're going to be able to get it at the Apple shop if it's in stock, and if you queue up the night before on September the 19th. So September the 19th is the release date, so roughly about 2 weeks away, and you can pre-order on Friday, so that's 12th of September, so you can pre-order. I'm not sure when the pre-orders are going to be coming through, but you are going to be able to get your hands on the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus very soon. So there we have it. Those were the key differences between these two devices. What do you think? Are you impressed with the announcements of both of these? Do drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, as always, please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And why not subscribe to the channel? I've got plenty more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV. I'll see you next time. If you want to see more regular videos like this one, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, which will be below. If you're on a mobile device, it may be somewhere else. If you want to see my previous related video, then hit the link right here. If you want to stay in touch over Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, then all of the addresses will be there somewhere, as well as direct links in the description below. Okay, if you're still watching, then that means you've not done one of those things, so no. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna go downstairs. See. Okay. There isn't really a downstairs. Anyway, so yeah.